Here we go again for part 3 with the FusaroFitness Q&A. I will link part 1 and 2 on the screen or in the description box below in case you missed those. Like I said earlier, the timestamps are in the description box below, and let's get started on part 3, the last of the questions. What is your recommendation on cardio? Whether to do it or not, types, amount for someone trying to lean gain, add a half a pound to 1 pound per week. I think whether you're cutting or bulking, cardio has its benefits, mainly for your cardiovascular endurance and your cardiovascular health. I wouldn't overdo it, especially if you're trying to put on size or put on weight, because it will increase your caloric expenditure, but I do think it has its place. So if you are lean gaining or bulking, just don't overdo it. How long have you been training? I've been training with some knowledge and an idea of what I'm doing for about 2 years now. I've messed around in the gym, threw weights around, didn't have any structure to my training, didn't really focus on mobility and compound lifts, and pretty much wasted some time like a lot of us have, but around 2 years or so with serious training. What is the best and most effective way to lose belly fat? I talked about this earlier: calorie deficit, time, patience, consistency. Can you talk about your college lacrosse experience? Sure, I went to Cortland in upstate New York to play college lacrosse. I didn't go to play lacrosse. I was there. I had friends on the club lacrosse team. I decided I would give it a shot. Had the time of my life, met a ton of people, made a bunch of friends, won a national championship, got to travel to different states to compete and play. It was a great experience overall. How to encourage your partner to be enthusiastic about training as I am? Don't try and force your partner, whether boyfriend or girlfriend, into doing something just because you're passionate about it. Just don't do it. I definitely think putting that kind of pressure on someone will push them further away from wanting to do it. If they see that you're passionate, if they see how much it means to you, maybe it will inspire them to want to go to the gym with you or start training. But don't try and force it on someone. Increasing your max, lifting weight quickly with minimizing recovery. I'm not really sure what you're asking there. As far as increasing your max goes, whether it be on, I'm assuming, squat, dead, bench press, something like that, I would just follow a routine, a strength or powerlifting routine that has built-in progression, built-in deloads, something that you can quantify with numbers and percentages. What's your favorite flavor of protein? I love peanut butter, so any brand that comes out with a decent tasting chocolate peanut butter is top of my list, but typically I usually use like a chocolate or vanilla because they happen to be the cheapest, but I'm not very picky when it comes to that, unless of course I had a ton of money to blow on protein powder. Then I'd probably experiment a little bit more. Did you make a video explaining how to bulk or cut? If not, a little explanation would be great. I actually have done videos on macronutrient intake for cutting and bulking. You can use the search function on the YouTube channel and just type that in and you'll be sure to find it there. Insulin spike versus calorie deficit. If you are in a deficit, does it really not trigger an insulin spike and make you gain fat? No one has given a straight up answer. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will not gain fat or gain weight. As far as an insulin spike goes, it is not necessary. You don't need to spike your insulin in order to gain muscle, lose fat, anything like that. If you are an active, healthy individual, you're not a diabetic, you don't have to worry about blood glucose levels. Don't worry about insulin and glycemic index and stuff like that. Focus on calorie deficit, calorie surplus, and your training in the gym. Aside from the big, heavy compound lifts and proper caloric intake, how can one achieve complete abdominal muscle development? This is one thing that a lot of people either misunderstand or just they don't realize that just because you're squatting and deadlifting does not mean to cut out abdominal work. Yes, your core will be stimulated during the majority of the lifts you do in the gym, but as far as building abs and getting abdominal muscle development, you have to train them like any other muscle, with heavy weight, with progressive overload. It is not just you do squats and you magically have abs. Some people have a greater or a better set of abs than other people, and when they diet down without doing any direct ab training, they could see a six-pack. But in order to actually build the muscle, abs respond to hypertrophy just like any other muscle, so you will have to work them and stimulate them with heavy weight. Last question, what textbooks or books would you recommend one to read to become more knowledgeable about fitness and nutrition? As I stated earlier, I mentioned Lyle McDonald. He has a great website. I've talked about Alan Aragon on the channel, Eric Helms, a ton of different people, Lane Norton. I will actually make a video talking about the top fitness experts or nutrition experts that I recommend you read. I will point you in the direction to books and links that I use personally, and I'll post on the Facebook page when I come out with that video, so just stay tuned for that. It will come out, and that's about it. So I thank you all for the questions. Again, if you missed part 1 and part 2, they will be linked in the description box below. If you enjoy these videos, please don't forget to like them and leave a comment. I'd be happy to do more Q&As, and I appreciate the support as always. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.